Hi everyone. In this video we'll see how to create and adjust annotations in ELAN. So here we already have an ELAN file that has been created and set up with a number of tiers for the different multimodal features or aspects of multimodal conduct that we want to annotate. So to begin to create an annotation, we could first look for a segment that we're interested in. So let's just play the video.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
Have fun.
Thank you.
So we might begin by annotating Kamala Harris's first turn it talk. And we can click and drag along this waveform. We can see where that turn it talk is likely to be based on the amplitude of the waveform. And we can play the selection to confirm this.
Kamala Harris.
So then to create an annotation, we double click in the area on the tier that we would like to use. So Kamala Harris talk is this tier. So right here we would double click. And now we have a text field where we can enter any kind of text that we would like. Now, when we're annotating talk in ELAN, we typically, or I typically, just use orthographic representations of the talk rather than Jeffersonian transcription. The main reason for this is that the text field can take any kind of Unicode character, but it doesn't easily do things like underlining or bold or other kinds of features that you might see in a Jeffersonian or multimodal transcript. So I keep it to orthographic transcription for ELAN and then add in the productional detail in a multimodal transcript that would go into a paper. So we have our first annotation here, but there are a lot of ways that you can adjust annotations. So if we zoom in on this using the slider in the bottom right-hand corner, we can see that actually the boundaries of this annotation are not very precise at all. So if we look at the waveform, we see that there's no signal in this portion at all, and we can confirm that by playing the selection. And we can move forward a little bit to see, well, where do we start to hear? So you can actually hear the release of the stop. So we find the place where we cannot hear any speech. Okay, we've got to go back a little bit. Oop. So there we go. Now we've identified that this is the area where her speech begins, but our annotation is beginning all the way over here. So we can adjust the boundary of the annotation by pressing the Alt or Option button on the keyboard and then hovering over that boundary. And we see that the cursor changes to an icon with left and right arrows. And that allows us then to click and drag on that boundary and adjust it to be much more precise. And we can do the same at the end of the utterance. All right, so I will put it around here. And of course, if you're doing research on the timing of turn taking, you would need to be adjusting these boundaries as precisely as possible with clear definitions of what those unit boundaries should be. Now, another useful way to adjust an annotation once you've made it is by sliding it up and down along the tiers. So this often happens if you're creating annotations that you may have double-clicked on the wrong tier and added an annotation to, for example, Kamala Harris's gestures, but actually you've transcribed her speech. So if you hold down the Option key or the Alt key on the keyboard, you can slide the annotation up and down the tiers. So that's really useful. It comes in handy. Another useful feature, you can slide the annotations to the left and the right without changing their duration. Again, holding down the Alt or Option key on the keyboard and clicking and dragging. You see that the Annotation duration stays exactly the same, but we're just sliding it around on the waveform. So the last thing to know about annotations is how to get rid of them, how to delete them. So to delete an annotation, you want to make sure that you first selected that annotation. We only have one annotation, so it's hard to know which one is selected, or very easy to know. The selected annotation is the one that has this blue or purple highlighting along the line. It's actually very subtle. And we can see it more clearly if we create a second annotation. Now you can see that this annotation has the blue or purple line, and this one is fully black. So this is the selected one in blue, and now this is the selected one in blue. To delete an annotation, we select it, and then we go to the annotation menu and go to delete annotation. There's also a keyboard shortcut there if you'd like to learn that. And now we can delete our other annotation. And now we're back to where we started. So that is how you can create, edit, and adjust annotations in ELAN. And if you do multimodal conversation analysis, you'll be doing this all the time.